I'm not touching that.
I'm not touching that either. What? It's like all over the leaves and stuff.
Nuestra vida cambió.
Please come and collect this mannequin's head.
The wilderness is supposed to be empty, but sometimes it's hiding things you aren't meant to see. From a pale face peeking behind a tree, a creature with a burning head, a faceless figure perched on a bus stop, to a headless shape rising from the brush. If you saw these, would you freeze or run? A woman was alone at her house in the woods when she heard a sound coming from near the garage. She lifted the garage door and walked outside to check. But at first, everything appeared normal. Holding her camera, she slowly scanned the surroundings and then noticed something she hadn't expected. A pale face staring out from behind a tree. Startled, she rushed back inside, leaving the garage door unlocked. Soon after, the noise stopped, and no other movement was reported. The figure's identity was never verified. It may have been someone nearby, or something harder to explain. What do you think was really standing behind that tree? One morning, a man walked outside on his farm and saw something disturbing. In the distance stood what looked like a cow or horse, but its head appeared to be on fire. He filmed it and shared the video online. Some viewers connected the figure to old folklore about a cursed four-legged creature said to frighten people. Others believed the clip was staged or made with AI. Real or not, the image is hard to forget. What do you think was really standing out there? A man in Texas said something dropped from the sky and hit his property. After checking the area, he discovered a deep crater in the ground. The dirt looked freshly turned, pointing to a heavy impact. The account gained attention because similar events had been reported elsewhere. Witnesses have described bright streaks crossing the sky, followed by debris found on the ground. In most situations, specialists identify these cases as meteors, or pieces of space junk entering Earth's atmosphere. There is no verified proof that this case involved anything unusual. Investigations typically connect reports like this to natural objects, or human-made debris falling from orbit. While walking in the woods, a man discovered an abandoned clown animatronic. It smelled terrible, but he still brought it home. Inside, he found what appeared to be animal bones. The find raised questions about who made it and why. Some viewers even wondered if the bones were truly from an animal, or something much worse. In December 2020, YouTuber Joey Official headed out late at night with his friend Chris to test a random Nautica app. After stopping for gas, they followed the coordinates generated by the app to a remote road far from civilization. They parked their vehicle and walked about 1 kilometer into a dark wooded area.
There's the same pickup truck that keeps driving up and down really slow on this dark road. Like, I cannot see anything in front of me right now.
You got a half a mile to go.
What?
What I thought, yo, if I see that pickup truck one more time, like why would he come back? Like, he drove by at least 3-4 times. We got a quarter mile to walk and we should be there. Yeah, we just...
Do you hear that?
So we just got to the location and
well, we think we got
yeah,
to the
we
location.
think we got to the location.
We're in the middle of freaking nowhere, first of all.
As they moved along the road, the same pickup truck repeatedly drove slowly up and down the stretch. They continued walking for roughly 10 minutes, drawing closer to the marked location while surrounded by near total darkness. When they believed they had reached the spot indicated by the app, they began hearing loud, unexplained sounds around them.
That's my breath, guys. I think that's my breath. I'm gonna go back. Did you guys hear that? That was a loud bang. Yo! That was a loud bang. That was an extremely loud bang. Be careful, there's spiders everywhere.
That's like not cool.
Not at all, especially, you know how far we are from
We're like
civilization?
We're pretty far from the car.
Yo, are those gunshots? Those sound like gunshots. I'm not gonna lie, there was multiple shots back to back.
Are we walking back?
I think so. I don't know. What was it? Yo, you guys must have heard it. That was clear. Yeah, I saw that cup.
Okay. There's some like bag up there. It smells so bad. It's like rancid. But yeah, I don't know where this is exactly taking us. I just hope we're not being like set up by somebody or something.
Hopes no one's here like gonna pop out somewhere. But those shots
sound like footsteps, like
right?
hitting the pavement. Running.
I swear to God.
A sudden heavy bang echoed nearby. Soon after, multiple shots rang out in quick succession. Realizing how far they were from both their car and any nearby town, they hesitated but kept looking around. They noticed a cup and a bag in the area, along with a strong, rancid odor. As they searched further, they came across what appeared to be blood splatters scattered across leaves and the ground, along with a Ouija board.
Yo, I'm scared. Like, I'm not scared of the people. I'm afraid of, like, my heartbeat's at like 130 beats per second. I'm freaking out. Yeah, I don't see him either. I think we should head out. Yo, you okay? What happened? Yo, what the hell is that? Yo, my camera just went out of focus real quick.
Oh my God, wait. I can't, like, we have to go.
Yo, what the hell is that? Hold on. Hold on, be careful. Yo.
Is that a Ouija board?
Yo,
I'm
there's...
pretty sure I like caught my, look at it.
Yo, be careful.
Leaves in my pants.
Yo, there's blood splatters.
I'm
You
like
okay?
I fell in that. Like I'm almost positive.
Yo, my hand's shaking. I'm gonna turn my light off. Is this what they wanted us to come see? I'm not touching that.
I'm not touching that either. What? It's like all over the leaves and stuff.
This is disgusting. I'm so happy that didn't hit you because you were like crouched right here.
I know. I almost like I literally was sitting like on top of this shit.
Wow.
Like, it almost looks like something's maybe dragged.
I don't know where it goes to.
Oh my God! Do you see its lights? Wait, shine your light on it, please.
This is like straight up out of a horror movie.
The situation felt increasingly unsafe, and they chose not to continue. They turned around and made their way back to the car. Strange timing, random coordinates, and what they found at the end all raise quiet questions. Maybe it was coincidence, maybe not. If you were there that night, would you have kept going or walked away sooner? A Reddit user and his brother were out camping when a large tree suddenly fell across both of their campsites. It crashed onto a parked car and crushed a camper trailer. Both vehicles were severely damaged and could not be driven away. Fortunately, no one was injured. A later inspection showed that the tree was hollow and decayed inside, even though it looked healthy on the outside. If it had come down during the night, the result might have been deadly. The incident highlights how unstable trees can collapse without warning, even when everything seems calm. In 1965, 6 teenage boys from Tonga made a choice that would alter their lives forever. Sione Fatua, Stephen Tavita, David Molia, Luke Vicoso, Kolo Fekitoa, and Mano Totau were between 15 and 19 years old and attending a strict boarding school in Nuku Alofa, the capital of Tonga. One night, they ran away without telling anyone. They took a small wooden sailboat and headed toward Fiji, convinced they could make the trip. But they were seriously unprepared. On the first night, a strong storm destroyed the sail and rudder, leaving them with no way to steer. For 8 days, they drifted across the open Pacific Ocean without food or fresh water. They survived by catching fish with their hands, drinking rainwater when it fell, and enduring the harsh sun and dehydration. Eventually, the boat hit land. They had reached Ada, a small uninhabited volcanic island. What followed is what makes their story remarkable. They built shelters from fallen trees, kept a fire burning at all times, and stayed alive by fishing, trapping birds, collecting rainwater, and growing crops. They even treated broken bones using wooden and leaf splints. They lived like this for 15 months. In September 1966, Australian fishing captain Peter Warner was sailing near Otta when he noticed burned areas on a hillside and cut trees, clear signs of human presence. As he approached the shore, 6 young men ran toward him alive, healthy, and smiling. The boys were rescued and returned to Tonga, where their families had believed they were dead. Unlike many survival stories, this one did not end in tragedy. 6 teenagers alone for 15 months, and still working together feels almost unbelievable. Sometimes survival depends more on unity than luck. Do you think most groups would have stayed strong for that long? A couple decided to take their wedding photos inside a cave called the Throat of the Dead. Later, while reviewing the pictures, they noticed a figure standing in the background. After researching the cave, they learned that in the 19th century, a man's body had been found inside, seated against a wall with torn fingernails and wide, frozen eyes, said to have died from terror. Legend claims that anyone who speaks vows of love inside the cave will see him. He was called the Watcher. He never moved or spoke and appeared in only one frame, not before or after. The couple didn't know the story at the time, but about a year later they began having severe nightmares. Life was never the same after that photo. A group was hiking in an unfamiliar area inside a restricted zone when they suddenly stopped and turned around. Up ahead on the trail, a tiger was lying asleep. They appeared to notice it just in time. It raises an obvious question. Why enter a restricted zone in a place where tigers are known to roam freely? Uber driver Ken Keehee received a ride request that immediately caught his attention.
So we are at a cemetery and we have a passenger to pick up.
The passenger name listed was Betty Up, and the pickup location shown in the app was Fort Lincoln Cemetery. Curious but careful, Ken drove to the exact point marked on the map. When he arrived, the area was completely empty. No one was there.
This person called Betty up, and it's over there.
Even so, the app continued to show that the passenger was waiting. Ken tried calling the rider through the app, but no one answered. He waited for a short time and looked around again, finding no sign of anyone. Eventually, he canceled the trip and left the cemetery. But the story didn't end there. After Ken shared the footage online, viewers claimed they heard something unsettling. Just after he stepped out of his car, a faint second voice seemed to appear in the background. Some believe it sounds like a woman quietly saying she is there.
I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but
Was it a prank, a glitch, or something harder to explain at that cemetery? A photo shared in a local county group shows a strange shape near a lake. Taken from across the water, it captures a gray concrete mound sloping into the lake beneath a bridge. Just behind it, a figure appears to stand at the water's edge in a spot that's hard to access. Earlier that year, a father and son drowned at the lake. One commenter said the shape looks like something holding a child. Shadows can be misleading, but some details feel unsettling. What do you see? A YouTube user named Minnewanka2012 recorded this video at Lake Minnewanka in Banff, Alberta, Canada. They were visiting the frozen lake to take photos and check if the ice was safe for skating. While standing alone on the ice, the person filming began hearing strange sounds. The open, flat landscape showed no clear source. Later, viewers shared different explanations. Some believed the noises were linked to military activity in nearby mountains. Others suggested natural echoes traveling across the frozen lake and surrounding terrain. A few called them sky trumpets, low-frequency booming or humming sounds sometimes reported around the world. The source was never confirmed, and the mystery continues to interest many. Sometimes sound travels in unexpected ways, but in a place that quiet, what would you think was making it? A camper searching for a campsite in a Polish forest on Google Earth noticed a strange abandoned building. Inside was a massive, disturbing statue. They posted it on TikTok, and many viewers assumed it was linked to a cult. Later, someone explained the truth. The statue was a prop from the low-budget horror film Redwood, released in 2017, and the set had been left inside an unused mausoleum. It may not be sinister, but without knowing that, what would you think? In September 2014, 38-year-old Aaron Hedges went elk hunting with friends in Montana's Crazy Mountains. He left camp alone to collect supplies from a nearby cache, but never returned. As a snowstorm approached, his friends eventually left, and a search was launched. Teams later found scattered gear, including his boots, but no trace of him. Months later, his remains were discovered miles from where he was expected to be. How he reached that location was never clearly explained. Some believe he became disoriented in the harsh terrain, while others question how events unfolded. Remote wilderness can turn dangerous quickly, especially when weather changes without warning. But the unanswered details still leave room for doubt. What do you think happened out there? A Reddit user was walking his dog in the Canadian woods for the first time when he left the trail to follow deer tracks. Hidden among the trees, he found a wooden shelter in a quiet, rarely visited area. Nearby stood a mannequin positioned like a scarecrow, but it seemed meant to unsettle people rather than birds. He later asked around, yet no one knew anything about it. In a place that isolated, even simple things can feel disturbing. What would you think if you found it? Late one night, a man was driving along a quiet road when he neared a bus stop and noticed something sitting on top of it. It wasn't a person waiting below, but a figure perched above. It didn't look human, and it had no wings or features that suggested an animal. Its face appeared smooth and blank, with no eyes, nose, or mouth. The shape stayed completely still, as if watching passing cars. It could have been a doll placed there for some reason, or something less clear. The driver didn't wait to find out. Would you have? Two friends were walking home late at night through a quiet wooded area. Along the path, they passed a man heading the opposite way. He didn't react, and both instantly felt something wasn't right. Seconds later, they turned around. The man had disappeared.
Nuestra vida cambió. Buenas noches.
Buenas.
¿Eh?
¿Estás mal?
Sí. Ah, no te pases de bestia. No mames. No mames.
There were no footsteps, no sounds, and no trace of where he went. Maybe the darkness hid something simple. Or maybe not. In a place that quiet, what would you believe happened? On December 15th, 2025, YouTube creator Bigum's Delicious, known for solo camping and wilderness exploration, headed to a remote campsite near Ozette Lake in the United States. After setting up camp, everything felt routine at first, until the forest suddenly fell silent. Soon after, he started hearing movement circling the campsite. What stood out was the rhythm.
I don't know if you guys can hear, but there's something walking around back there. Might be a bear or an elk. Might be a fag squatch. Yes? Come on out, boy. Get out of my woods. You hear that? It's pretty loud. It's twigs breaking and stuff, so it's a large mammal. I don't think a Sasquatch would be that loud, though. Probably an elk. It's walking so slow, though. It does not sound like 4 feet either.
The sounds did not match the steady, predictable pattern of a typical four-legged animal. They were slow, uneven, and seemed to pause between steps. After several tense minutes, the noises gradually faded back into the trees. Nothing was ever seen, and whatever moved through the forest that day was never identified. In isolated woods, animals can move in unusual ways, especially when they sense something nearby. But when the pattern feels different, it's hard not to question it. What do you think was walking out there? It was a warm fall day in the Ozarks, around 80 degrees, when a woman went for a walk on a local trail near her small town. The path was remote, and no one else was visible. At first, everything felt peaceful. Then, without a clear reason, she felt the need to glance behind her. That's when she noticed someone walking directly behind her, completely covered in a dark cloak or blanket.
Okay, I'm gonna turn around here in a second, but there's something straight out of a horror movie following me right now.
What made it more unsettling was that she had been alone the entire time. There were no side paths or connecting trails leading to that point. She didn't stop to investigate. Instead, she kept moving, picking up her pace, and creating as much distance as possible. After sharing the experience, she never posted again. In an empty place like that, how does someone appear without being seen? On October 5, 2018, 27-year-old Terrence Woods Jr., a TV producer from Maryland with international experience, went missing while working with a UK crew in Oro Grande, Idaho. Days earlier, he had told his family he planned to return home early. According to the crew, Terrence suddenly ran down a steep slope near the Penman mine and disappeared into the forest. Their accounts later showed inconsistencies, raising doubts about what happened. Search teams found no scent, footprints, clothing, blood, or personal items. Investigators also did not review his hotel room or phone records, leaving major gaps. Despite extensive searches, he has never been found, and the case was marked inactive. With so many missing pieces, the full story remains unclear. What do you think was overlooked? In 2004, Mora Murray crashed her car on a rural road in New Hampshire. She was last seen near the scene that night. When police arrived, she was gone. Her phone, bank cards, and ID were never used again. In the days before the crash, she had been involved in other car accidents and had been drinking. After the collision, she told others not to contact police and never called for roadside assistance. Search teams carefully examined the area but found no clear trace. The road was cold, wooded, and difficult to search. To this day, her disappearance remains deeply unsettling, with no clear answer about where she went or what happened. Someone was walking along a forest trail near an old abandoned castle when their camera recorded something unusual. Ahead on the path, a dark, translucent figure appeared. It looked human, dressed completely in dark clothing, and stood perfectly still. The castle was rumored to be haunted, something the person only learned later while researching the location. At the time, they hadn't seen the figure and had no explanation for it. Was it a trick of light and shadow, or something tied to the castle's past? A hiker in a quiet forest spotted what looked like people in dark cloaks standing in the distance. They froze at first, then moved closer, believing the figures were statues, and recorded the scene. That story spread quickly. Later, it was revealed that everything, the forest, the snow, and the statues, had been created using artificial intelligence. The location never existed, and nothing was physically there. It looked real enough to fool many viewers. If you had seen it first, would you have believed it? On May 4, 2017, 23-year-old Maline Connelly went hiking in Montana's Great Bear Wilderness near Glacier National Park while visiting her uncle. She planned a short hike with her dog Mogi, but left without food, proper gear, or a map. Later, her car was found at the trailhead with all her supplies still inside. Madeline made a wrong turn and continued deeper into the wilderness, likely disoriented by the terrain and snow. When night came, she realized she was lost. A large search effort began, involving helicopters, ground crews, horses, dogs, and trackers. Bear tracks were discovered near her footprints, increasing concern. She survived for 6 days in freezing conditions by drinking stream water, melting snow, and sleeping beneath trees for shelter. Without food or equipment, she moved carefully and rested when needed. On May 10th, searchers located her alive near a creek drainage about 5 miles from her vehicle. She had no major injuries, and her dog was unharmed. Both were rescued by helicopter and reunited with her family. A Reddit user shared that an unknown individual exposed himself to her on the Oak Leaf Trail just north of Prospect. She was able to quickly take a photo before leaving the area and later posted about the incident on a Milwaukee online forum to alert others. She attempted to reach the non-emergency police line, but was unable to get through, and later stated she planned to report it in person. Other forum members encouraged her to file the report and mentioned having similar encounters, noting that repeat offenders are sometimes involved. Staying alert and aware can make a difference. If something like this happened near you, would you report it right away? Someone was walking down a street when they suddenly saw something unsettling. A massive kangaroo standing nearby. The uploader claimed it looked nearly 9 feet tall and extremely muscular. For comparison, the largest kangaroos usually grow to about 6 feet, with tails around 3.3 feet long, and weigh between 121 and 198 pounds. The one in the video appeared much taller and bulkier than normal. Perspective can affect size on camera, but does this look typical to you? A camper was walking back to his site late at night when he noticed movement in the bushes. The area had seemed quiet moments before. He turned on his phone's flashlight and began recording, though he didn't clearly see anything at the time. Later, reviewing the video, he was alarmed. The footage appeared to show a headless figure slowly rising from the brush before sinking back down. It may have been an animal caught at a strange angle. But what do you think was really there? On Halloween night in 2015, a paranormal team entered St. Bartholomew's Cemetery in western Sydney. The setting was quiet, though not completely silent. While taking photos, they heard a strange whining noise with no clear source. Nothing seemed unusual at the time, so they continued. Later, reviewing the images, they noticed a blurred figure near a grave. It looked like a man moving quickly, almost as if running away from the camera. No one remembered seeing anyone there that night. Motion blur can explain a lot, but what do you think they really captured? This video captures an active paranormal investigation conducted in Epping Forest in the United Kingdom. The footage was uploaded on December 22nd, 2025 by the channel Jobo, and the investigation was led by Jobo himself. They entered the forest shortly after midnight, a time often associated with heightened paranormal claims. During the session, Jobo used small props and offerings connected to local folklore in an attempt to draw a response from anything that might be present.
Did it?
It went off a
I
tiny
wasn't
bit.
looking. I was looking at horrible history.
It went off a little, like, it only went
I was looking at this.
It only went off the green. So please let yourself know. Touch the book, touch the EMF, touch that sensor once it starts. Feel free to engage with us. Just let yourself be known.
I went to yellow.
Oh, that means they're just browsing it. They're not reading it yet.
They're just going through the pages, yeah. Reading the blurb.
At one point, an EMF device registered brief low to mid-level spikes, but the readings were inconsistent and did not remain elevated.
We've moved on to a new area because we wasn't really getting a lot of activity previously. The next gift is for the Headless biker. So he's seen roaming down the streets. Apparently there's a specific crossroads that so for his present, I figured, why not just give him what he's missing the most? And please come and collect this mannequin's head. Please set the EMF off, set one of the balls off, or speak into the digicorder. Just have at it. Just make yourself known. Ride your bike through here if you want to. Come collect it. It's going to, like, middle.
Yeah, it's hit max.
Did it?
Yeah.
I'll look away for a second. Okay, so if you're here with us, if you like my present for you, set the EMF off. If you think this is quite a nice present for you. What's that?
Something made a noise.
There's something there. There's a spirit there. Make yourself known. No? The EMF's gone. Dead. Like, it didn't. It started going off when we started speaking, and that. Oh, you back? Maybe his bike doesn't have brakes, so he can't stop for long.
He just had to turn around and go fast again.
He had to turn around and come by again.
The team later moved to a different area after limited activity and attempted to summon a local legend known as the Headless Biker by leaving an item as an offering. No consistent reaction followed. They then visited a small pond where a girl was said to have drowned and left a teddy bear as a final gesture.
So there was a girl that drowned here once, and for her present, I figured, why not give her a little teddy bear? It's something she can play with. She's probably never had a toy since she's passed away. So we're giving her
Why do you sound like you're giving to charity?
It is charity.
So we're going to do something really nice right now.
So, little girl, I don't know your name. I couldn't find your name anywhere. Please set the EMF off, set the spirit ball off, or even, the bear makes a noise. Set the bear off. Just let your presence be known. We wish you no harm.
It's kind of.
Set the, are you here with me right now?
Do you want this? Come and get it. Come and get it. Little ghost girl.
Take it. You can have it. I'm not going to take it. I don't need it. I don't need it.
The investigation ended without incident and without clear conclusions. Sometimes the lack of evidence raises more questions than answers. What do you think really happened that night? One summer, a photographer ventured into the cellar of an abandoned castle in Bavaria and snapped a quick picture inside. At the moment, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. The photo was taken casually, without much thought. Later, while reviewing the image, something disturbing caught attention. Near the center of the cellar, a dark shape appeared. Some viewers believed it resembled a small human figure. Others argued it was simply shadows, uneven stone, or wall damage altered by lighting and texture. Bavarian castles often hold centuries of history, conflict, and abandonment. It may have been a simple case of pareidolia, or perhaps something shaped by the castle's long past. When old places leave marks in photos, is it just light and shadow, or something else? In June 1969, 6-year-old Dennis Lloyd Martin disappeared in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park during a family camping trip. While playing with other children, he ran briefly into the woods and never returned. His family searched immediately before alerting park officials. What followed became the largest search effort in the park's history at the time. Volunteers, rangers, and specialized teams combed the dense forest and steep terrain for days. Despite the extensive operation, no evidence was ever found. No clothing, no footprints, no trace of where he went. His disappearance remains one of the park's most troubling unsolved cases. In a place that vast, how can someone vanish without a single clue? While enjoying a night outside with friends, this group decided to take timed photos using a phone placed inside a mailbox. They stood across the street near a cornfield and captured 2 images back to back. Later, as they looked through the pictures, they noticed something disturbing. The first photo looked completely normal. In the second, however, something appeared behind one of them, something that had not been there just seconds earlier. No one saw anything unusual at the time, and the photos were taken only moments apart. To make it clearer, the second image was likely adjusted with simple brightness and contrast edits. The group still does not know what was there that night. It could have been something ordinary passing close to the lens, or something harder to explain. They shared the images online, hoping others could offer answers. Sometimes small details change how we see a moment. What do you think was captured in that second photo? This is the last known photograph of Christopher McCandless. In the image, he holds a handwritten note saying he had lived a happy life, offering thanks and a final farewell. The photo was taken in Alaska in 1992, shortly before his death. At the time, McCandless was living alone in a remote area after months surviving in the wilderness. He relied on foraging and the limited supplies he had brought. During his journey, he traveled through Alaska with minimal gear, documenting his experiences and reflecting on freedom and self-reliance. He died from starvation, likely worsened by eating toxic plants, after becoming trapped by harsh conditions and isolation. His story later inspired the book Into the Wild, published in 1996, and a film released in 2007. The image remains widely shared as a record of his final days. Was it freedom or a fatal miscalculation? Reddit user Amazon was about to step into a forest in Sweden when they noticed 2 old baby strollers near the trail. The strollers were empty and positioned side by side, with no adults or children anywhere in sight. Some commenters believed the models appeared to be from the 1990s, which made the sight even more unusual. Others suggested they may have been abandoned as a prank or left behind after being used as toys. So far, there have been no updates explaining who placed the strollers there or for what reason. Do you think it was harmless, or something meant to disturb whoever found it? A man named Michael shared security footage with a Facebook group called the Paranormal Order. The video came from a camera monitoring the backyard of his rural property. What it captured left him unsettled. In a single frame, what looks like a young girl appears to be walking across the yard. Michael said no one was supposed to be there at the time. There were no children present, no visitors, and no nearby neighbors who could explain the figure. Even stranger, the camera didn't trigger before or after, only that one image was recorded. Concerned, Michael checked for any missing child reports in the area but found none. Security cameras can misinterpret shadows or brief movement. Still, one unexplained frame can feel disturbing. What do you think the camera really saw? After a day of hiking, a man drove past a forest and noticed something unusual. A woman was standing near the trees with a child in a fairly isolated area. The setting made the moment feel unsettling. They didn't ask for help or react as the car passed. The driver slowed down to observe, but eventually continued on, later saying the situation felt off. When he posted the video online, opinions were divided. Some believed it was a homeless mother. Others thought the figure looked like a mannequin, and a few warned it could have been a trap. In quiet places, ordinary scenes can feel suspicious. What do you think was really happening there? A Reddit user posted a photo from a camping trip taken 5 years ago. In the picture, something above the campfire appears to form a human-like shape. Normally, it could be dismissed as a flame flare or light distortion, but the figure looks unusually detailed, with what seem to be arms, legs, hands, and even fingers. Fire can create convincing shapes in motion. Still, does this look like coincidence or something more? Reddit user Ashton, 207 and 5 friends explored an abandoned railroad bridge near a building, just a short walk from where they parked. The area felt colder than usual, but they ignored it at first. As they walked, everyone felt uneasy, though no one said anything. They took a few photos and left quickly because of the cold. Later, reviewing the pictures in the car, they noticed a dark figure near the tracks in one image. None of them had seen anyone there. Was it someone hidden nearby, or just a shadow playing tricks? This photo was taken in 2007 by a woman walking alone through an alley late at night. As she moved forward, she began to feel uneasy, even though the area seemed quiet and no one was visible. To be safe, she held her phone behind her and snapped a few photos without turning around. She didn't review them until she returned home. Later, while looking through the images, she noticed something odd. On the left side of one picture, a dark shape appears in the background. It looks tall, almost like a person wearing a long coat. However, the image is too blurry to confirm if it is anything unusual. Sometimes low light and motion distort shapes. But what do you think she captured? A few summers ago, a Reddit user and a friend visited cemeteries at night for fun. One rural cemetery about 40 minutes away felt unsettling, so they left. Weeks later, the user returned alone. Near the trees, a harsh gurgling sound seemed to follow them. Branches snapped and leaves shifted, yet nothing was visible. The noise felt close, then suddenly stopped. They ran back to the car and drove off. Later, reviewing their photos, they noticed strange shapes in some images. Night sounds can echo in odd ways. But what do you think was there? A man was out walking his dogs when they suddenly began barking at what seemed like nothing. He started recording. Moments later, he heard footsteps coming toward him, even though no one was visible. When he reviewed the footage afterward, a faint human-shaped figure appeared to pass by. The shape looked translucent and lacked clear features. Was that what he had heard approaching him, or was it simply a trick of light and timing? That's all for tonight's video. Which encounter gave you chills? Let us know in the comments below. Got your own experience? We want to hear it. And whatever you do, don't miss what's coming next.